Hey everybody, we're going to do a little lab activity here to demonstrate some ideas about solution stoichiometry. All right, so I've got a silver nitrate solution, which is in this bottle here, 0.1 molar. You can't see it right now, but this is mostly a colorless solution, maybe with a slight tinge of gray. And then I've got a potassium chromate, also 0.1 molar, that's a yellow color. All right. So we're going to add those into our test tube, and I measured out 5 milliliters of each. All right, so I'm going to add my potassium chromate to the test tube here. Okay, and then we're going to add the silver nitrate. All right, and what you can see right away is that we had this precipitate form. It's kind of a reddish brown color, if I'm getting my colors correct here. And what I want to do is I want to centrifuge this to separate the solid from the liquid that's remaining, and then we're going to do is test to see if we have any excess ions that are in here. All right, everybody, here's a little lesson on our centrifuge. So basically we have these these tubes here we're going to put our test tubes in. Depending on the size of your test tube, what you may need to do is remove some of the rubber spacers that are in the bottom of these tubes. So for instance, if I put my test tube as an example into spot number 4, this is sticking out quite a bit, and what you want to do is have another test tube opposite of it, and then these are going to run into each other, and so as this spins around, these could bang into each other, and the glass can break, and glass will go flying everywhere at high speed. So you don't want that. So what I've actually done is just in contrast here, you can see I removed the rubber stopper from 3 and actually number 6. Those are the ones I'm going to use, and that's kind of the difference. These are both the same size test tube. All right. So what we're going to do is now I'm going to take my sample and I'm going to put it in number 3. And in number 6, I'm going to put a counterbalance here. So if I was doing a lab where there was another person, they would just put their test tube in here. However, I'm just doing it as a demo, so there's not another lab. So what I'm going to do is take a test tube with the approximate same amount of water as a counterbalance. Put that opposite of it. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow, so it's going to make sure that this doesn't shake really terribly when it spins. If you don't have a counterbalance, it's going to vibrate really quite a bit. So go ahead and turn it on so you kind of see that there's no vibration. So we've let that spin on our centrifuge for a while. I just turned it off and it's slowing down. I'm going to go ahead and put my finger on the right-hand side here to slow it down. You want to make sure that you don't get too close to the center, or else your finger can get caught in there. Most people in labs say don't do that, but just for the purposes of our lab and our demonstration, we show that. So if you remember, I put my sample in number 3. Let's take a look and see how it looks. And so what we have is that we have the solid that's on the bottom here, and then I'm noticing there's kind of a yellow tinge here, which means that we have some excess of the potassium chromate solution, and we're actually going to do a little test about that. All right, so we have a visual indication here that we have some excess of our potassium chromate solution. If you remember, this was that yellow color, and we see that there's kind of a yellow color in our solution here. So we have a bit of a descriptive way of knowing that we have some excess ions in there of the potassium chromate. Now, our calculations, if we didn't have that color, that tell us that we probably have some excess potassium chromate solution in there, our calculations would be able to tell us. And our calculations should reinforce this idea. And so one way that I can test that if I'm if this color is due to the potassium chromate, that means that we have excess potassium chromate ions in solution. And therefore, if I add more of my limiting reactant, which would be my silver nitrate, we should make more precipitate. So we're going to go ahead and give that a try. All right, so again, this is our same solution that we had before. We're going to add some more silver, and what we can see hopefully is that we made more solid precipitate, and you can see it's moving down the test tube. And so verifying that yes, we did have excess potassium chromate. In our next, in the rest of our video, we'll go through our calculations to sort of prove out this idea.